The Toronto Blue Jays made an important move today, and they finally called up Spencer Horwitz, who had been raking in AAA Buffalo. It comes at a time when the Blue Jays need some offense. We don't know who's being sent down in the move yet, but things are pointing towards Clement being the unfortunate guy in the situation. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. Welcome in, everybody, to this episode of Jays Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And Nick, it was a long time coming. We were waiting for Spencer Horwitz's name to be called up to the big leagues. He had a cup of coffee last year, pretty successful, didn't light the world on fire, and he's not the most exciting prospect in the Blue Jays system, but what he is consistent, and he had nothing left to prove in AAA anymore, so it's about time the Blue Jays finally gave him a shot here. He's 26 years old. He is what he is. I don't think he's going to hit some kind of milestone where he just becomes one of the best players in the league, but he's consistent, he's versatile, and the Blue Jays had been working on his versatility very closely, and I think they were waiting to see whether or not he could handle second base, whether or not he could handle left field with regularity, because newsflash, there's a bit of a logjam at first base with Vladdy and with Justin Turner playing there every now and then. So he had to find a place in this lineup. First base was not going to be that place, and I think he's found it at second and in left field. Now, the coinciding move, Nick, we're not quite sure what's going to happen yet. We don't know if it's going to be Biggio getting sent down, whether it's Ernie Clement getting DFA'd, but some very interesting conversations need to be had here. But the bottom line is that Horwitz is getting his call, and he's getting his shot in the big leagues, and he's going to have an opportunity to perform here.
Yeah, some breaking news on this Friday afternoon ahead of their big series against Oakland, which is at 9:40 p.m. Eastern, so a late start for everybody. But yeah, Peter, it literally just happened about 5 or 10 minutes ago as of the time of recording. Hearing that Spencer Horwitz is expected to be in Oakland tonight, with the Blue Jays open a 3-game series versus the Athletics tonight. Now, again, like you mentioned, the corresponding move has yet to happen. That is going to happen before tonight's game later tonight. So I assume that will be again, probably right before the lineups are being given out, which is going to be a bit of an interesting one. But Peter, Spencer Horwitz, you saw his stats there a little bit. He has kind of been tearing it up for the Toronto Blue Jays AAA farm system. And there's an article that I'll show you in a little bit here that kind of shows who Ben Nicholson-Smith predicts will be sent down, which you mentioned is Ernie Clement. But Peter, the move has been made, and Ernie Clement is coming up to the Toronto Blue Jays. Or sorry, Spencer Horwitz, not Ernie Clement. Ernie Clement's being sent down, Horwitz, most likely to by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Maybe. I don't want to shut that door yet on Ernie Clement, because he did have a good game the other day, and he has been someone that's worked very hard, and I like him as a player. I think Biggio needs to be the one that's sent down because he has options, and Horwitz is a left-handed hitter. So that's basically who he's going to be replacing. At least we think so in terms of playing time. So why have two lefties when you can have one, and Ernie Clement, who I believe has a higher ceiling than what Kevin Biggio has been offering up to the Blue Jays. So I like the move. I think it was a long time coming. And now we hope the three roommates are going to be together in Clement, Schneider, and Horwitz. But the Blue Jays seem to want to break that up every opportunity they get. So maybe we won't get that wholesome content on our timelines when everything has been so negative surrounding the Blue Jays. But Nick, this is the right move. It had to happen, and it had to happen pretty soon, because the Jays they had 1-2 in a row here against Baltimore, but you got to keep the momentum going. And I just don't know if Biggio has a place on this team right now. Maybe on the roster, but not in terms of playing time. I don't think he should be seeing the field at all, unless it's for pinch running duties or anything of that nature. But look, I like the move. It's something that needed to happen. It finally did happen. And let's see if Horwitz can keep up his tearing it up kind of production that he had in AAA. I don't think he'll hit 350 in the bigs, but I think he'll get on base at a pretty decent clip. He'll pick up some pretty important hits for the team as well, and he's a professional hitter. That's what he is. He just needed an opportunity. He's finally getting his opportunity right now, and I suspect he won't look back.
Yeah, I mean, it's between Biggio, Clement, and Vogelbach. Vogelbach's been tearing up a little bit, but that's now another left-handed bat. And again, he hit near 1,000, an OPS near 1,000 in AAA. Last season with the Jays, he was middling in the mid to low 700s, which, given his sporadic playing time, was actually quite good. I was pretty impressed with Horwitz last year, and you can see this article here. If you look at the bottom, this is the key part here. Zips and Steamer predicts Spencer Horwitz, Peter, in the big leagues to have a 119 WRC plus. And the biggest thing with Spencer Horwitz that has been the issue and the reason that he hasn't been up so far, he put up a 157 WRC plus for the Bisons, but the reason he hasn't been called up to the Jays is because of positional versatility and the lack of that he used to have. He used to be mainly a first baseman and maybe a little bit of outfield. Now we're seeing him play a bunch of different positions. And when we were seeing that, we were thinking, okay, maybe they are going to call him up soon. And that is looking like exactly what's going to happen for the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's why he was playing the occasional second base, playing the outfield rather than just first base, especially with Justin Turner. Vladdy's now playing third base, which also lends some credence to the fact that now Horwitz can slide into that first base or DH spot on days where Vladdy's playing third as well.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays did this to themselves as well by now putting themselves in the position where they have to sacrifice defense for offense because wow, the offense isn't performing. You sacrificed offense for defense a couple of off seasons ago, and now it's biting you in the butt. And now the Jays are going to have to sacrifice some defense. And Buck Martinez made an interesting point on the broadcast just the other day that he'd like to see guys just stick to one position. It's great to have versatile guys that can play everywhere and have a bunch of utility players on your team. But look at all the best teams in the league. They got everyday players playing at one position. I mean, the Atlanta Braves are a good example. Ozzy Albies, you can always pencil him into second base. Ronald Acuna Jr., always pencil him into right field. Same thing with Matt Olson, Austin Riley, and obviously those are different caliber players than Spencer Horwitz and whoever we're talking about with the Blue Jays. But it's nice to see a bit of consistency, and I think Horwitz is going to step into a nice role with the Jays. I hope he gets ample playing time, though. I hope it's not like once or twice a week and he's playing second base one day, left field the other day. I hope he gets consistent playing time at second base and he's able to earn that spot. Because I've liked what I've seen out of IKF from third base, liked what I've seen out of Schneider in left field as well. So give him a chance to take that second base job and run with it. And whatever you do with the DH position is up to you if you're the Jays. Put in one of Justin Turner or Daniel Vogelbach if Spencer Horwitz is swinging the bat well. Let him earn this opportunity. Don't just play him once a week or twice a week and say, oh yeah, well he's not performing, so we're going to send him back down. No, you got to give him an opportunity here and let him seize it because there's no one really on the Jays that deserves to be in the lineup every day, apart from a couple of guys. So I'd like to see him get his fair shot.
Yeah, if he's going to get called up, which he ultimately did, I want to see him play as much as he can. And he's going to go through some cold spells. He's going to go through some hot spells, but hopefully some of it will translate there as well, which would be interesting. And one final thing before I wrap up, Peter, I know we've been mentioning it, but I just want to show you guys the article. So at the bottom here, you can see there have been some rumblings around the Jays that Horwitz could be joining the club for their upcoming series in Oakland. This article was posted yesterday. Should this come to be, it'd likely be Clement being DFA'd, according to Ben Nicholson-Smith. I believe he said that on his podcast or in an article he wrote. So that's where we're getting that from, which is very intriguing and very, very interesting there now. And you look at some of the guys that the Jays have. This is Ernie Clement. He's having a rough year, obviously, 73 OPS plus, but he's done some decent things. He's been better as of late. But I think ultimately, Peter, Biggio option being sent down could work as well, but I just have a weird feeling the Jays front office and their ownership and everything would rather keep Biggio on the team than Clement, even though Clement has been very good.
Yeah. I'll say this, though. I mean, the one thing Clement can do that Biggio can't is play shortstop. So I get you have IKF who has been there, but then you're sacrificing a lot of third base defense. So if Bo goes
And
down
speed.
with an injury or yeah, speed as well. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I'm looking for answers here. I haven't been a fan of the way Biggio has played, not only this season, but in the past few years. He's had every opportunity to run away with the starting job. He was the starting second baseman a couple of years ago. Espinal took that away from him. He was the starting second baseman start off last year, and then obviously we know he got hot down the stretch, but still,
Yeah.
he's had every opportunity. So I hope the Blue Jays front office and the Blue Jays coaching staff gives those same opportunities to Horwitz because the ceiling is much, much higher in terms of power, plate discipline, and just overall hitting ability. That's what you're looking for in second base anymore. It's not a defense first position. It's not that crucial at second base. So if Horwitz can be average defensively and give you really good production offensively, then you got to play him every day. Reminds me a lot of Max Muncy as a player, minus the power. Someone who can play pretty much all over the diamond, doesn't look like a second baseman at all, but he gets the job done. And sometimes he costs the Dodgers a little bit with his defensive play, but you keep him in there because of his bat and how elite it is. So I want to see Horwitz get a shot here, and I think it comes at a great time in this series against Oakland.
And it'll start tonight. And we'll have a video probably for you guys tomorrow morning covering what the corresponding move was as well as the game. But hopefully the Jays can take care of business. And I would suspect that Horwitz gets the start tonight in the lineup. Very curious to see what position he does play, though. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments. Are you excited that Horwitz is finally up? I feel like it's been weeks too long, but he ultimately got there, and we got there. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.